Oxygen! Ah! Why'd you breathe in?
Because it's oxygen, isn't it?
In a way. We're eating ice cream.
Yum, yum, yum.
Hi.
You can see, if you're looking, that the dog is propped up on my leg because she wants my ice cream.
And she shan't have it.
No. Definitely weren't just giving us some.
Oh, boo.
What?
I'm Chris.
I'm not okay.
Welcome back to our flipping boiling Doctor Who review. We're recording this in the third full week of June 2023.
The cursed months.
Oh god, but the weather's been hotter than Satan's taint, with random rain spells that have made it humid and muggy.
One of my colleagues' sons is going to study in Antarctica, and I asked, can I go with them?
For our overseas viewers who are like, aren't you Brits always complaining about the rain, the cold weather? Don't you want to be warm?
No.
My dudes, UK houses are built to keep the heat in because of how cold it should be.
Global warming, bitches.
Yeah. Use public transport. Use public transport. No, please.
But you can't rely on it, so why would you use it?
Stop buying NFTs. Anyway.
Ride bikes instead of cars.
Ride bikes instead of buying NFTs.
Yeah. Go outside.
Grow your own fruit and veg instead of buying NFTs.
Oh, can't wait to do that.
We need to prune our strawberry plants actually so that they can get ready for next month when it gets a little hot. Anyway, we're here to talk about 4 more episodes from Series 10 of Modern Doctor Who. If you haven't seen our video on Friend from the Future, the pilot, Smile, Thin Ice and Knock Knock, that's the last video, go back and watch it.
Why not sauce on my arm?
Have you got sauce on your arm?
My
I can't see it from here. No, I can see your pits and there's no sauce in it. How would you have gotten sauce in your underarm?
I don't know, it just feels sticky.
Wow. Excellent content we're bringing here. So, by Billow, by...
Guys, have I got sauce on my arm?
Oh, good lord. Anyway. Right, I'm going to eat for a moment while you tell us, what was the plot of Oxygen? God, this is syrupy. I love it.
Oh, sorry, don't put too much on.
No, I love it. Why would you apologise? I said I love it.
On the space station, people are dying, and the Doctor and Bill get a distress call. And the Doctor's like, ooh, a distress call. Can't resist a distress a distress call. So they go there. And is Nadal's with them?
Because he's explicitly forbidding them to do this.
Because it's off-world.
Yeah.
So they go, and turns out the people there should have been, like 400 people on there, and there's only like 8 left or something.
Yeah, I mean, but again, we're assuming you've seen this if you watch the video. Basically...
The suits are killing people.
It's the one where people's suits are killing them, and then just piloting the bodies around.
Because oxygen...
Although, it turns out, actually, not everyone's been killed. Like, some of the more recently seemingly deceased are okay, like Bill at the end, it's reverted, but, like, yeah, basically it's a zombie episode.
Yeah, because oxygen is...
Where the suit is the zombie, not the person in it.
For the right oil. That's a throwback reference that I probably shouldn't have made.
To a content creator who is
a racist.
Who's a racist.
Oh, Godman, sorry.
So
I do apologise for that. But
basically,
yeah,
this is the F capitalism episode.
Doctor Who isn't political.
When I first saw this one, I remember thinking it was alright. I think my dislike of the next 3, stay tuned for that, because you might be surprised, coloured my remembrance of this a little bit, because it was the last thing we saw before a story that lost me. And...
You warned me that these were bad.
I said this one's probably alright. But the Monk trilogy, I remember being the thing that made me stop enjoying Series 10.
What are you looking at?
As a 32-year-old, incredibly left-leaning socialist, I really enjoyed Oxygen.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
damn, you scary.
I mean, from the visuals of like the opening with her comms broken, and she's like practicing saying that she she wants to have kids when they get home, and you can't hear her, and then like she dies in the suit, and when we get to see her again at the end, it's like really sort of touching because we know what she was going to say. He doesn't, but you can still see he's like hurt to see her, and it's that thing of, hey, audience, we're going to make you hurt more because you know like what future she wanted with the fella.
Sad.
It's incredibly like the cast in this are great. We've got the sort of the recurring racism joke. Bill sees her first overtly alien-looking person and keeps staring, and he thinks that she's just staring because of the colour of his skin. So it's this sort of subversion.
She gets called out on it. And
she gets called out on it, and she doesn't know how to react. And it's like, it's a situation she would never find herself in ever. So of course she's kind of like, no, I didn't mean. It's just no. And it's like, oh, it's a joke that could have failed spectacularly, but I think the way Jamie Matheson wrote it and the way Bill Mackey delivered it, it works brilliantly. Yeah. And then Nardo with the sort of, oh no, some of my best friends are blue, and it's like, oh god, no!
No! I think that's very funny. It's like, oh jeez. Doesn't matter what planet you're on.
The spacesuit designs are great. This was before superhero films kind of overdid the idea of like the nano helmet or helmets that just appear out of nowhere and stuff. That's right, they can't see that, so there's no need to say that out loud. Okay. How many videos have we done?
I don't know. So I'm trying to tidy up a little bit because this is a mess because of me. It gave me serious Wallace and Gromit vibes. What, the wrong trousers. Yeah. Even the way they walk, it was like the way those green pants walk.
God, that's a perfect comparison, actually.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. Like when he's sleepwalking. When he's just asleep and in the trousers. Yeah.
That scared me, that.
That's horrible. Like
penguin.
Imagine in your sleep being taken on a diamond heist and you have no idea you're doing it.
Oh my god, it just reminded me of when he's walking on the ceiling and he's swinging like that.
Yeah, and it's the Mission Impossible bit where he's sort of on the lasers and everything. He's just missing him.
Do you know, I didn't appreciate that as a child because I thought they just existed.
Yeah, you just assume that these are people, right? These are people in my television.
But stop motion made him swing like that. That's very impressive.
Speaking of visual effects and impressive, the different levels of decay or bloating of the corpses in this, brilliant. Like there's one guy whose face has sort of expanded and started to tear. Remember when he's sort of got more exposed teeth and everything, and one whose eyes are like really tiny and squished inside the swollen forehead, and it's like wow. Because again, post-opening credits, like the Doctor's in a lecture hall just talking about like being in the vacuum of space. And there's a throwaway joke about it being a lecture about geography or something, and it's like, what?
Why would the Doctor be giving a lecture about geography?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? He's meant to be giving lectures at the university in whatever capacity, but he just talks about whatever the hell he wants, and that's why the students love him.
and the dean is just like, sure.
Okay.
Well, good.
Go to uni in Bristol, they'll teach you anything. They don't give a crap.
He's bringing the money in. I don't know why he's American, but...
I'll roll it down the money.
Roll it in that money.
Boreals.
You can't do that.
Dr. T just giving a lecture.
Don't, because that's too... No, let's not go there.
Now...
No.
We're going to have to say something now. It's
too... No, we're not going to.
I joked that her boyfriend is Dr. Teeth from the Electric Mayhem from the Muppets.
No, right.
And it was a running joke, and now she kind of fancies Dr. Teeth.
No. I need to say no. During lockdown, we were sat here going mental.
We watched the Muppet. I'd showed it you for the first time, the Muppet movie, because you'd never seen it.
Love the Muppets, don't get me wrong, but I've never seen the original Muppet movie.
Yeah.
You used to watch the Muppet Show when I was a kid.
Yeah. The Muppets Tonight, we grew up with that going out on BBC One over it.
Yeah. And you said if you had to go out with one of the
No, I didn't say that word.
Yeah,
I just said it cruder.
You said a different word.
I said it cruder. If you had to do the naughty with a Muppet, who are you picking?
And who did you pick?
Ralph.
He's a dog.
Yeah, and he's cuddly. The aftercare would be spectacular.
Why is mine weird? Mine has hands.
Yeah.
Mine has proper hands.
He's a green man with like...
And a face.
Wolf has a face and
I know,
hands.
yeah, he does have a face, but he's a dog.
Also, you love aging musicians. They're like one of your sort of your boxes.
Look, I didn't realise that at the time.
And now you've watched.
And now it's
watching the
very
Disney Plus
obvious.
show about the Electric Mayhem, and you basically watched him being a musician.
But you've said it, and now it's happening, and I don't like it. And that's why I laughed. I've forgotten why we talked about this. You've just revealed a secret that I'm mortified about.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, did you spot the reference to the Daleks in this? The original serial, the Daleks.
No. Wait,
So-
no, I did, because you pointed it out.
Yeah, so when the Doctor tricks Nardole into believing that removing a fluid link will disable the TARDIS,
Oh, yeah.
when in fact it does not,
That's
which is what
why.
the first Doctor does to Ian to convince them to investigate the city in the the mutants or whatever the original story title for that serial was, but in the Daleks,
Were
yeah.
they not called the Daleks in that episode?
No, they are, but like the story wasn't called the Daleks; it was called
right,
the
okay.
mutants. Like Unearthly Child was called 10,000 BC.
And then every story is called Remembrance of the Daleks.
The Edge of Destruction was called Susan Goes Batshit with Scissors.
The Regret of the Daleks. The Renaissance of the Daleks.
That sounds exciting.
The Re-emergence of the Daleks.
Good lord.
Yeah, I'm still not a fan of this film. But yeah, so that was nice.
Spaceships were great. The building tension was great.
The political side of it, the fact that the company was selling oxygen. Oh, excuse me, and buying staff is cheaper
Mm-hmm.
than them breathing the oxygen. So they genuinely did not give a shit about the. Sorry, excuse me.
That's right.
About the people.
So when the Doctor basically threatens to self-destruct the entire place at the end, the fact that the company hadn't already binned it off was a clue to him, and they immediately filled the place with oxygen again and rescued them.
Yeah.
Because it was there's something here that the company wants, and it is not worth sweeping all of us under the rug to lose whatever it is they're actually after. It's basically they're just leaving them all there to die, and then eventually they would have just come and collected whatever it was.
Yeah, because everybody's convinced that there's a rescue ship coming, aren't they?
Yes, they've been led to believe that that's what's happening.
But there's nobody coming.
The fact that the ending...
That's really sad.
Oh, it's depressing and scary, and it's... Do you know what it reminded me of as well? It reminded you of the wrong trousers. It reminded me of Aliens.
Yeah.
Because there's an alien. Because there's a lot of that in Alien, hey, you guys, can you mind anything? Great. There's this distress signal. Could you go check it out? Yeah, sure. And then you learn that Ash has been, from the inside, waiting for them to do this. They can monitor the biological life form and everything. It's ugh.
Here's a question. If
Yes.
you were given the opportunity to go to space...
Which Muppet would you have sex with?
No! Stop! Oh, please cut this out.
Oh, no, go on.
God's sake. No. Please don't tell Warwick. You'll be so upset.
I won't. Go on.
God's
That's
sake.
funny.
Anyway, if you were given the option... Now I can't see because I've pressed my eyeballs. Precious eggs. If you were given the opportunity to go to space, would you go?
No. Because to say yes immediately would be to ignore the how, why, what are we doing, what's the plan,
Definitely.
how do we get there? Yeah, exactly. If someone just said, I'm taking you all to space, I'd be like, immediate pass.
We're going to space.
Immediate hard pass. Computer, set a course for space. Immediate hard pass. I need to know the details. It's got to happen. I've seen too many horror movies set in space to just go, yeah, let's do it.
Oh, do you know what? My colleagues whose son is going to Antarctica,
Yes, yeah.
they watched The Thing. And I was like, why would you
Why
do
would you
that?
do that to
I
yourself?
love it. Why would you do that? I love that. I'm going with you. But yeah, and I guess that's kind of the same. You're stuck in the middle of
Nowhere. And yeah.
To be fair, if you walked far enough, you would end up.
And you meet the unknown. That's the thing as well. Somewhere there you have no
Silence.
way to... Yeah.
See, I would be torn because I would love to go to space, but also, hell no. There's something on the wing. There's something.
There's the spacewalk scenes in this are great.
Yeah, they are good.
The tension of the one where Bill's suit is malfunctioning. Basically, they perform an immediate switch, and they manage to get through, and she recovers, and the Doctor doesn't. And basically, sight loss could be temporary. hold off. Sight loss could be temporary, but like throughout the whole story, he's still, he's doing the whole thing blind. It's like, what a terrifying situation. Like, Bill is close to death, manages to make it out, and then as far as we know, dies.
Yeah.
But at that point, you're like, the doctor's got some kind of plan. Because why would he put her in this situation?
Do you know what I liked? She didn't die in a pretty way.
Oh, it's creepy.
Like she was being electrocuted.
Yeah, and then she just like
she was
flops, and it's all double chins and like open eyes, and it's not pretty. Yeah,
fall and faint and just She did it in a realistic way. It was creepy.
Especially
because being a kid watching that, you'd be disturbed.
That's true. And like that's great. Just the overall thing of like capitalism bad. Seriously, find a new system, Earth. Find a new way to do this.
We'll talk about it another time. I know. But you told them about Dr. Teeth, and I'm not happy about it. So you're not allowed to talk about what
I'm a socialist. I believe we should share things. So, excuse me. What is the one thing in this episode that does not work? Because you started laughing the moment I touched on the plot.
I nearly weed.
I can't ever see you ever again. I'm still blind. It's like, what?
It's like a soap opera.
Oxygen is a great episode up until that last scene.
I was seriously creeped out because I don't like the thought of robots and AI and stuff like that. I hate that. The fact that something is walking around taking your dead body with it, I'm not down for that. That's not cool.
The idea of a computer essentially dictating whether you live or die, like based on a corporate agenda. That ending that's very reminiscent of the Rebel Flesh and the Almost People, where like two of them are dropped off to basically fight the system publicly.
Yeah.
It's very like, this is creepy. I hope they figure this out. I wish them well. Dear God, this is terrifying.
The moment I knew I was out of this future is when they've encountered a suit doing tasks and they open the shield thing on its head and there's nothing in it. No, that's not appropriate.
So go on, what are your notes on Oxygen aside from
that's scary? It had no face. Oh, I'm getting anxious. I'm feeling all kinds of feelings right now.
Just feeling laser, blazer, taser, all kinds of things.
All kinds of things. So I said, oh no, wait, that's the wrong one. These don't really make any sense.
It does.
Walking corpses.
Yeah.
With like a sick face.
Yeah.
Gross. Doctor is hilarious.
Yeah, he's pretty sharp. The script in this is pretty sharp.
I need to write specifics.
Especially in the beginning where they're like sort of figuring out getting the distance in and then figuring out with the suits and stuff. There's some very sharp stuff in this. Capaldi is very good in this.
It was probably the way he was talking to Nardole that made me laugh.
Yeah. And again, this is our first adventure with like, here's the three of them.
Yeah.
And it works quite well.
I wrote... Sorry. My phone's at a very particular angle because it doesn't like to charge. Nice reference to the Doctor getting the team to explore on Skaro.
There you go. Bing, bing, bing.
Bing, 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 bing. A corpse stood up in the suit for the ride. That's what the Doctor said. A corpse stood up in the suit for the ride. Like the corpse going for the ride.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, okay. Got you. I think.
Gross.
Yeah. Oh, where they just stumble into that man just stood up in the middle of the room. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And now Bill's genuinely like, can we make it stop? Can we like lie him down or something? It's sick. Like she just feels so uncomfortable.
The way they shot that, he was in the background whilst they were talking.
Yeah. And
you weren't looking at them.
No.
You were looking at him like he's gonna move, and of course he didn't.
No.
And that if he'd have moved, that would have been like oh. But the fact that he didn't move, makes it so much worse. And also, I wrote. What did I write? Fucking phone. Sorry, swearing again. Apologise. I'm tired.
Note to self, mark this for an appropriate language
I'm sorry.
on the monetization
We do this
page.
after I've been at work all day. I'm tired.
Me too.
I can't see anything. I'm still blind. That was just...
Boo-wee!
I think that's one of my favourite endings.
in the best worst way.
In like TV history. That needs to be on one of those Christmas compilation things.
I'm still blind.
I'm still blind.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
And Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to all you at home. Doctor, you're facing the wrong camera.
No.
Doctor, you're facing the wrong camera. Because I'm blind. I'm still blind, Adol.
No.
Yes. Just a field.
Just balls.
Extremis. Extremis.
Extremis.
Extruples.
Is it extremis or extremis?
I don't care. The thing is, I see this word and I think of the Iron Man story arc from the comic books that Iron Man 3 sort of does a version of.
Okay.
With the drug that everyone uses that makes more flamey and
fiery.
Yeah, extremis.
Spicy.
Spicy.
Why is it spicy?
Here are my thoughts before I forget them on this one. Dead simply. This is a great Torchwood episode.
Yeah.
I think it's too much for Doctor Who.
Okay.
Like specifically when you remember the target audience is families with younger children. This one is a bit.
It's a bit much, isn't it?
Like, hey everyone who reads this thing kills themselves. Do you want to go read it? And then you have scientists who figured out that nothing's real. We'll kill ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's just a bit like again, don't get me wrong, detach it from the fact that I'm like, this is a show for families and specifically kids. This is really well written.
Yeah,
and it's really, really well performed by everybody involved. It's a Stephen Moffat script, this one. The comedy is great. The stuff with the Pope walking into Bill's flat in the middle of a date is flipping brilliant.
That is funny.
The blind, the Nardole leading the blind stuff is sometimes funny, but sometimes for God's sake, Doctor, just tell Bill, for Christ's sake, just tell her.
Why does he not tell her?
Because he's afraid, because then it makes it real.
What?
He doesn't like feeling weak and disarmed. It'll be real if he tells her.
Thing is, didn't he gave that thing to I can't remember what our original name was. Me,
yeah. You and me and you, both of us together. Yeah.
To bring her back to life. He's not got anything in his junk drawer to
Cure the blindness.
Eyes.
No, apparently not.
Yeah, cure the blindness, I suppose.
Apparently not. Yeah, and
plot holes. Nothing but
plot holes. But yeah, you get some oddities in this one that just don't really work for me on a general audience kind of level. I think the fact that it's all a hologram is meant to be,
dramatic and. I mean, what is it supposed to be giving? Right.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember if the Misty stuff's in this episode or. Yes, it is this one.
Oh,
yeah,
is it?
Yeah, it's in this one, and then she doesn't appear again until part 3. She appears in The Lie of the Land. Yeah. So, what was I saying? I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. It's I think they're trying to go. Oh, don't worry about it. People didn't actually top themselves because they weren't real. But it's like they felt real. They thought they were real. The Doctor makes a whole point of saying, imagine what Super Mario would do if he knew he wasn't real and all this stuff, and you're like, okay, Moffat, I don't think you understand how games work, but at the same time, the point you're making is in there, and it's essentially, imagine if you learnt that nothing you did was real and you didn't matter, and you were just a plaything to someone who's, figuring out a plan. You would be devastated. And what's happened is everyone who's read Extremis has found that secret out and killed himself. Question. Why have the monks written it down somewhere in a book?
I don't know.
Because here's the other thing. If it's based on our reality, and this is them just simulating our reality to make plans, and they've done it 1 billion times over and over, why is there a cheat code to find out? Yeah, so I'm assuming that book doesn't, the Veritas or whatever it is, I'm assuming that book doesn't exist in the real world. Can I
be honest with you?
Yes.
I haven't got a clue what happens. I enjoyed the episode because it was dark and creepy and it was, in the Vatican and stuff like that.
I like the monk's design. I hate the way they talk.
Yeah, just going...
Cowards. Cowards. Have them talk. Pick one to be the mouth. Pick one to be the mouth of Sauron and do that thing where one of them speaks on behalf of the rest.
Yeah.
It's weird that it's just the whole and a voiceover comes out. It's like, what are you doing?
And it's that whispery kind of thing as well. It's like, God's sake.
So boring.
How many times?
Like, not a bad performance, it's just a boring choice.
It's just a boring choice, exactly. But I don't understand at all what was going on.
So basically, they're like, look, someone's broken into the Vatican and have read this book, which apparently has a prophecy in it that is so foreboding, everyone who's ever read it has taken their own life.
Why don't they just burn it?
Because it's
history,
because it's history, it's religion, it's a prophecy. Like, apparently, it's connected to summer. So they've heard of the Doctor, and they're like, right, we want you to do it, please, because this is getting insane. Like, people keep breaking in and taking it. There's an implication that, like, that it's been downloaded for that lab, and that lab have gotten a hold of it, and things like that in some way, and all this stuff. And key locations around the world, like the Pentagon, have got. Well, that's it. It's emailed out and stuff, isn't it? The Pentagon get a hold of it.
The president kills himself.
The president kills himself. The Pentagon are all rushing around. That lab in wherever it is, they've all come to the conclusion and realised, screw it, we're just going to blow ourselves up. And I love the realisation. I think the realisation of his service simulation. I love the realisation of a simulation coming about when everybody's like,
I love that song.
Guess a number, right? Go. 5, and they all say 5. It's like, whoa, like that's great because it means that nothing is ever completely random because it can't be because it's artificial. It's like that is a great even when artificial things do something randomly, they're doing it because they've been programmed to do it randomly.
Yeah.
So it's not random. It's an intended choice. Yeah. So
this is where it starts boggling my brain a bit.
Okay, so basically, the whole plot is this thing is. A book has got prophecy in it, and everyone who reads it has taken their own life. And people keep trying to get to it. We need you to come and read it and find out what the hell's going on because we have a feeling it's like, whatever it is, it's obviously about to come to pass. That's why there's all this interest and buzz. So he comes to read it and learn from it. When they get there, they find that someone broke in, emailed it to a boatload of important places around the world, and then took their own life or fled or whatever. And so the Doctor tries to crack it. Meanwhile, these things have been appearing, and Nardole and Bill step through one of the gateways they came through to see who they are and why they're keeping a close eye on it. And that's where they learn that, oh, look, we've got these portals to these key places, all the places it was emailed to.
So are they on the alien ship?
No, there's no alien ship.
Oh, see, this is what I'm confused
Everything
about.
in this episode,
this is all a simulation.
The intro with the blind Doctor talking to the doorway, the flashbacks to him and Missy, which we'll get into in a second, and the ending where it picked up with him receiving an email outside the doorway were the only scenes that were real.
But people know that it's... But people, when they, kill themselves and wake up, they remember
No, they're not in a it's not the Matrix. They're not in a simulation, they're not in stasis, they're not in a video game.
But how does Bill remember?
She doesn't.
She does, because she's talking about the Pope.
At the start of the next episode?
Yeah.
Because the Doctor tells her all about it.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah. She's telling her date the story that their university lecturer, the Doctor, told her, and she's saying so he had this dream apparently.
That makes a lot of sense because she's playing
it off as a dream because she's trying to flirt with the idea of and you and me hung out. So he said, maybe I should ask you, and I have done, and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
because he ends the episode being is that girl nice? Ask her out. I have a feeling we're about to get very busy.
I got confused that she knew what happened. But when the Doctor came to her, but when the Doctor came to her in the evening, at the end of that first episode, she had no idea what he was talking about.
She calls him. He calls her.
He calls her, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, everything in that episode we saw that wasn't the scenes of the Doctor sat outside the vault door, him calling Bill at the end, and the flashbacks to the execution thing. All the scenes weren't real.
He only knows because he's messaged himself.
Yes. Right. Because they basically made it so good that the Doctor in the simulation emailed out of the simulation to the Doctor.
Yeah.
So the fake Doctor sent basically a warning.
And even the fake Doctor's blind? That's harsh.
Yep, because it's a perfect simulation.
I know.
It's the idea is that it's a perfect simulation and it's one of 1,000,000 billion that they've ever ran because they're using it to find the perfect way to take over Earth. The Extremis, the whole, it's called the Veritas, isn't it? All that stuff essentially is...
Sorry, the dog's like...
That's right. All that stuff basically is a back door So maybe it's like every program has to have some kind of backdoor in it somewhere, like a
Yeah.
deleted files folder or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what the Veritas was, essentially.
Right. Oh, okay.
So
that doesn't exist in real life.
now here's the thing. That's not explicitly talked about, but I guess it wouldn't need to be because part 2 is set like weeks later. Do you know what I mean? And then part 3 is set like 6 months later.
So why is a simulation a thing?
It's all the monks. That simulation is happening in basically like wherever it is the monks are based. Out of our dimension, in the spaceship, wherever it is they are.
Yeah.
That's where the simulation's happening.
But why?
So that they can plan... Right, so in the context of this episode, I can answer that question. It's so they can figure out the most perfect way to invade.
Okay, right.
They're looking for every possible crack, every possible break-in, every possible backdoor, vulnerability, weakness, time when someone else was trying to invade, times when there's war, times when there's peace. They're looking through everything. And they've not done one, they've done it millions of times.
Millions of times, yeah.
Yeah? That in the context of this episode, that's what they're doing. Ask me in the next 2 what the whole point in that was. So, we also have flashbacks in this where we learn that the Doctor was called at some point after the events of Husbands of River Song. It's implied almost directly after, because he is in mourning, essentially.
Yeah.
Because he said goodbye to her for what he knows will be the last time for him. Well, maybe not the last time for him, but definitely the last time for River.
Yeah.
No, I guess last time for him because they explicitly set up that she didn't know this incarnation, so she wouldn't have met any of the ones beyond either. Anyway, point is, he's never going to see her again, and he's devastated. And he's summoned... Let me see if I've got the name of them here.
Nice.
I don't, but he's summoned to this planet that's essentially like...
Execution planet.
Yeah, the official executioners, who are led by...
Someone really good.
Is it Rafando? Is that the character's name? He's amazing. Whoever he is, he's incredible. He plays this so well. Basically, this person's been wanted... It's the start of the TV movie with Gordon Tipple in that weird little prison thing and those crap Dalek voices going, Extremis, as the Master is killed on Skaro and then his remains taken by the Doctor to go back to Gallifrey. It's that. The Master's being executed for her crimes.
Yeah.
Missy is there. It's going to be killed.
It's implied that it's him that's been executed, and then it's...
And then you see, bring out the prisoner, and it's like, oh, yeah, and Missy, for all the people she's killed over her different lives and lifetimes or generations, is being put to death.
It's taken him a while.
Well, I guess it's taken him a while to find her. So, yeah, the Doctor has to do it, and...
Yeah, I find that interesting, that it has to be somebody that they know.
Of your own people as well, yeah. It's like one of your own kind. It's like a symbolic thing.
Yeah.
Because, and then he has to watch over her remains. Is it for 100 years? Was that the arrangement? Something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
To make sure she's dead, and it's sort of as a mark of respect of, we will take this body, this the vessel, like this tomb, whatever, and we will guard it for this amount of time to make sure that everything is official.
Did Moffat have anything to do with this one?
He wrote this one.
Yeah. What happens and doesn't happen?
People die and they don't really die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened in the...
There's an amazing fan by the 5 Who fans on that, actually, funnily enough.
Yeah. And if you watch it, and then you watch episodes of Doctor Who where people die...
In Moffat's era. And before his era.
Does anybody die?
Not really.
No. They don't.
Characters you meet for 2 lines do, but no supporting characters or main characters really do.
Yeah, but do you actually see him die, though?
Sometimes.
Oh, my eyeballs.
Anywho,
Itchy.
it's hay fever season when we're recording this.
Sorry, yeah, I should have.
She's got itchy eyeballs. And my balls are itchy, she says.
I got itchy balls.
There's balls in my face and they're itchy.
Precious eggs.
What's that from?
Adam and Joe.
Oh, right. So, yeah, Missy isn't dead, and then they're like, you can't do this, and the Doctor's like, look up how many people have died over the... Again, Moffat is obsessed with the idea of databases of the dead. Sounds to the Library.
Mm.
The Nethersphere in Series 8.
Yeah.
Like, he can't help it. He can't help himself. He loves databases of the dead.
He's got some serious issues. Is he
Are you
okay?
alright, Steve? Are you okay, son? Are you alright? Do you need a word? Do you need to sit down? But it's used to basically copy his own joke from The Big Bang. When River's like, I'm River Song, look me up in your Dalek database. And the Dalek starts going, mercy, have mercy. Or the Doctor. The Doctor in Silence in the Library Forest of the Dead. You're in the biggest library in the universe, look me up. And the Vashta Nerada hesitates and retreats. He's using his own thing again.
God.
The Doctor in the 11th hour, and who saved Earth all those times, and the Atraxi start, looking through all that stuff on the Doctor.
I feel so unsurprised at this point.
I'm only just realising this. This is so disappointing. But anyway,
do you want some help off that pedestal?
The way the guy plays it is really funny. As he's sort of like, no, okay, we've executed warlords before. You're nothing impressed. Oh God, it's obviously the number of names associated or linked to him as part of reason for or adjacent to their death is obviously off the charts.
It's quite focused on in this series, isn't it? Because Bill was talking to him in one of their first stories when they're in London.
Yeah.
About
have you taken a life? Yeah. And the way he reacts in Smile, it freaks her out. And yeah, I'll tell you now, credit to Moffat, there is a payoff.
Okay.
There is absolutely a okay to that.
Okay.
So yeah, it's.
I'm trusting.
I think it is the unofficial arc of this series, because this series doesn't really have. The arc is the vault.
Yeah.
But I think the thematic arc of this series is what is the right way to do things? Do people have to die?
Here's a question for you.
You.
When you were watching it, did you guess that it was Missy in the vault?
I didn't guess that it was Missy until the Next Time trailer for this episode, where it showed a shot of Missy. And then I was like, right, well, Missy's in the vault then. That's when I put two and two together. I was like, it's her in the vault.
Mm.
Which is a shame. I think they obviously included her in the Next Time trailer to make you go, oh, Michelle Gomez is in next week. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
had they left her out of the Next Time trailer, it would have been more of a surprise. And then I think by the end of the episode, obviously, you'd be like, oh, so she's what's there. But let us know in the comments. I'm curious how many others figured it out beforehand. Because you figured it out in, episode 1. You went, is Missy in the vault? But that might be because you vaguely recalled it from when I was watching this series.
It's not.
No?
It's because I'm a genius.
Is it because you vaguely recalled it from when I... Yeah. I think that Nardole dissipating into nothing and Bill doing so is quite creepy. Because, of course, by that point you don't know exactly what's happened. So it is kind of like, oh my God! But, yeah. The next two parts kind of let this one down for me. But I will say this. I liked this a lot more revisiting it, having believed it wasn't very good for years. And massive props to Corrado Invernizzi, who plays Cardinal Angelo. He's great.
Yeah. And
special shout out to Joseph Long as the Pope, returning to the show after breaking our freaking hearts in Turn Left.
Yeah, got real sad when you told me what he was from.
Which part he plays in that one? He's devastating. He and Bernard Cribbins deliver one of the most brilliant and devastating moments in all of Doctor Who in that episode.
Bernard Cribbins died?
Bernard Cribbins has passed away, yes.
Yeah.
He passed away last year. We will see him one more time in one more show, though.
Oh.
Because he recorded for the 60th anniversary.
Oh, really?
So Wilfred Mott features in some of the 60th anniversary. So we will see him. You guys have already seen him by this point, but we will see him one last time. Making his posthumous final performance in something in Doctor Who.
That's very cute.
No, I shan't. It's Christmas.
What was I going to say then? Oh, I had very low expectations of this because you pre-warned me that these were shite.
The Monk trilogy. Oh, I said the Monk trilogy is what made me not enthused for this series anymore.
No, you said it was shite.
Yeah.
So I was very ready to not enjoy it. So I was pleasantly surprised.
Do you have any notes on Extremis?
Extrimbles.
Extrumble Bumble. Ex-John Trumbull.
Extrimble Bimble.
Eggs in the basket.
Well, I've got a few.
Hit me.
How can he see the sonic map?
Yeah, the fact that they've given him the sonic sunglasses the ability to sort of daredevil radar sense things
I'm assuming
is a bit cheating, but they do kind of set up limitations. Like, they do show that he can tell that a person is near, but he doesn't know who it is.
That's just purely by sense, surely. But that by any human sense that you can tell there's
Any
something in front of
human
you.
sense.
Even though he's not human.
Come
On
on.
the phone. The Pope just walks into her bedroom and I put a little laughing face. I thought that was very amusing. You know, same-sex marriage, kind of, well, same-sex relationships, should I say. And the Pope walks in. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because they talk about, you get the sense this is... Well, yeah, Penny's, implying this is the first time she's been on a date with a girl.
Yeah.
And she's, I feel like things were wrong, and it's like, Bill, and the fucking Pope bursts into the room. It's like...
I don't think she says it's wrong.
Funny.
I think
she sort of implies that she's like, I feel like I'm doing something wrong, because you get the sense maybe she's not really explored her sexuality yet.
Yeah.
And or felt free enough to do so. And then the Pope should, thank God it's just a simulation, because I wouldn't want that to scar her for life. She'd have a religious crisis, wouldn't she?
So funny.
It's a very funny, very dark joke. Luckily, Penny in the main episode, when we see her properly in the next one, doesn't get scared off for a act of God reason at the very least. So
she gets scared off by political reasons.
By military people arriving.
I wrote, River gave Nardole permission to kick his ass. I'm so over that.
Really?
Yeah. So over beating the Doctor up. Stop. I mean, I know it's only implied,
I think it's more the idea of
telling him what for.
Yeah,
but
him showing up at the funeral, I think is, Missy's execution, I think is great. I think that works well. If it wasn't the fact that it's obviously Matt Lucas the moment he shows up.
Oh, flip.
The fact that it's Matt Lucas the moment he shows up makes it a little bit like, are you trying to fool here? Are you trying to fool? It's clearly Matt Lucas.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
But then we learn that's the first time Nardole showed up to him after he left the Singing Towers. So,
but the fact that
it explains their relationship in Doctor Mysterio a bit more, because you're like, yeah, I can see it. He's sort of keeping an eye on him, and
the fact that he says it twice, it's like, come on.
Yeah, but the second time's to Bill, and Bill's like, "You secret badass," and he's like, "Nothing secret about it, baby."
Hold on.
I think you needed that scene because it made it feel safe that Nardole would be the one taking Bill off, to explore the portals. You're like, she's in safe hands. He obviously is capable of something.
Yeah.
So
there was a funny moment. I knew it was coming, but when he was talking about being a badass, and then he gets scared by something.
Yeah, so it makes him kind of just.
I knew it was coming, but I still thought it was funny.
It's played well. Lucas does. There's some really nice small comedy moments in this that he plays really well.
I hate to admit it, but yeah.
Don't think Little Britain. Think Georgie Dawes.
Okay. Pope Benedict was a woman. A woman wouldn't let that amount of shit happen.
Yeah.
Too true. The world would be a very different place.
Also, which Doctor do you think fraternised with her romantically?
Oh my God. I reckon.
Paul would be the obvious one.
The romantic.
Yeah.
Really? Do you think he would
the
take
Eighth
that
Doctor
risk?
is the sweeping romantic.
Yeah, I understand that, but that's risky business. That.
I mean, Moffat Land, it could be the 11th Doctor being completely accidentally horny, which he seems to be all the time in Moffat's era.
I reckon it is Sylvester. No joking.
The way she flung her castanets around.
Why did that cardinal take a lantern down into a lit library?
Yes.
For aesthetic reasons, obviously, but...
It gives me distracting feelings seeing him arrive there as well, because that corridor is the one that the teaser trailer has shot in, with three of them walking down that corridor and all the books are exploding from the shelves around them and stuff in slow motion.
Wait, do you smell that? Oh,
no, not Ghostbusters, the teaser trailer of Doctor Series 10.
Oh, I butchered that quote then.
Wait. Do you smell that? He
says no, he doesn't. He says, listen.
Oh, listen. Do you smell that?
Yeah.
Okay, stay close. Stay close.
Get it. Now I want to watch Ghostbusters.
You always want to watch Ghostbusters.
This made me laugh. When that sneaky priest or whatever downloaded the Veritas and then ran off, and there was a gunshot.
Yeah.
And we don't know what happened. And I've written, they just heard a gunshot and think that priest shot himself or someone. Have a little argument. I'm sure he's fine.
Yeah.
Because they just sit. They
Like,
just
it could be
stand and
someone
have a
injured
chat.
who's just, yeah.
It's like no urgency whatsoever.
I mean, to be fair, it was a simulation.
They didn't know that at the time. Capaldi plays blind very well.
Yeah. Certain shots, yeah. He's not quite Charlie Cox, but, he's doing alright.
I think he was on that level though.
I think Charlie Cox is better. To be
Yeah,
fair, he had more practice. 3 seasons of a television show and various appearances of that character since.
Yeah,
so.
but that's because Foggy's in it.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it does. Anyway, I said I love Bill's outfit.
Yeah. I love that they've clearly dug the White House set out of storage from Series 6.
Why was there wasn't enough urgency? I don't think from the Pentagon staff.
Well, the Pentagon
she
were
was
like, who the hell are you?
It was literally one woman. The rest of them were having conversations around her.
Do you have a level 6 clearance? Get her. Any more on that? No worries. We'll move on to the pyramid at the end of the world, which is a geographical and theoretical location. This is where it goes to piss for me now. I like the idea of America, Russia, and China deciding to put aside their differences and stop peacocking at each other to actually unite against the common threat, because the Doctor's like, you do realise they would never expect you to do that. And they're like, you've got a point. And you get the sense that those 3 people in the room are like, yeah, we don't want to fight. It's what our bosses and our military want us to do.
But Doctor Who's not political.
But then the fact that they'd spin on a dime within minutes when they realise that, well, maybe actually it'd be easier this way. And you're like, what?
Oh, isn't that like real life?
I like the idea of a pyramid that's thousands of years old just randomly appearing. The reason for that is never explained. Why is it a pyramid? Is it their ship? Presumably. But then why is it 5,000, 6,000, whatever years old?
Is it to show that it's ancient, I guess? I mean...
But it's like, is that the implication that they've been around for ages? I thought they were doing the simulation because they were just very quickly figuring out the best way to invade. So, and then we learned from Missy in the next episode that they've done this to other worlds and Missy's encountered them before. So they are always monks. Even though they're like, why do you look like, corpses? And they say, to us, you all are corpses. That is all we are in the end. And it's like, right, so is that meant to be them going, and you're all going to fucking die if you don't let us take over? Pardon my French, we've already censored the video. Is that what they're saying? Do you know what I mean? But if so, have they always looked like that in every world? Human corpses?
Yikes.
Is the pyramid just a pyramid because they kind of look like mummified people? Huh? So this is the episode that basically goes, hey, guess what? Their invasion begins now. And their invasion is... basically
part of it
to show up on the border of all these territories and to go, hey, you're all basically at the tipping point where you're going to doom yourselves because reasons, and we can save you. So if you is it consent?
Yeah.
If you consent to us with love, so actual acceptance and love, we will save you.
Not out of fear, not out of
fear, not out of manipulation, not out of strategy.
Strategy, that was it.
Has to be out of love. And it's like, well, surely it would always be a strategy. Because even if you are like, you're right, you can save us, you're doing it because you want everyone to be saved. That's a strategy, that's a choice.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make sense. And it sort of suffers from Peter Harness, the writer, the co-writer. Peter Harness's other script's kind of flaws, which is... kind of concepts that aren't very well solidified and allegories that don't really work, like Kill the Moon and the Zygon invasion, Zygon inversion. It just doesn't quite work, really. Yeah. And co-written by Moffat, which I think was to sort of bridge the 3 stories together, so that there's sort of like a through line to them.
Or was he worried that this would get a lot of praise and he wanted to get into it?
I don't think so. I don't think this is a doctor's wife, Nightmare in Silver, you could do it on your own then situation. It's an interesting middle part, but it's a middle part that acts like part 1.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really have an identity beyond, pyramid in field. I do like the bit where they basically return all of the pilots of the weapons and drones and whatnot within reach.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of a gesture of, you can't stop us. And I don't hate the idea of the doomsday clock appearing on every digital and analog clock on the planet.
Do you know what? I had no idea about the doomsday clock until it was in the news this year.
Really?
Was it this year or was it the end of last year?
Last year.
I had no clue.
Well, last year for this lot.
I thought it was like a theory, not like an actual thing.
Mm.
So,
And the idea of like it suddenly appearing on everybody's clocks is, I think, a really good idea.
It's scary.
Because it's like you said, it's a threat. It's essentially going, you've got till then to figure it out. And it's like, huh? But they're in control of it. When we finally see what the monks are promising to save humanity from, it's what you'd expect. It's climate change, it's natural disasters.
Saving them from themselves.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, so that's the thing, right, okay. And if you take over, you'll prevent that in exchange for basically ruling us. And they'll go, right, fine. And because like the UN representative rushes into it, they kill him because
he's doing it out of fear.
Yeah, because the heads of the representatives of the Russian, Chinese, and American military all do it out of strategy. They get killed. And then Bill finds out the doctor's blind and is like, I'll save your life, mate. Now, we find out what the extinction level event actually is.
Because they're not gonna press a button and the world's gonna explode.
No, they know that something's happening and they're keeping an eye on it. Except, there's sort of an implication that, like, the guy's glasses breaking, or was it the other doctor with her glasses?
It was the
Erica.
Yeah.
Rachel Denning is Erica, and Tony Gardner.
Yeah, I had my tiny mind blown when Christopher said that it was the guy from
My Parents' Training. He was in the thick of it as well. Remember, he was in a bunch of episodes of that too.
I don't remember that. I was just looking at Peter Capaldi.
You were. But back when you fancied Malcolm Tucker and not Peter Capaldi.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
I just want to point out that I do love my husband.
Dr. Teeth.
Stop!
There's sort of an implication that they sort of maybe swayed the universe so that like the glasses get broken, which is one of the many things that lead to the
butterfly effect.
Yeah, there's that whole thing with the lab in Yorkshire or whatever, and it's like the virus is being studied. It's a plant growth thing, and if it's flipped ever so slightly, it becomes a virus that kills organic matter, specifically plant life, is the implication. But then we see him get a massive dose of it, and he turns into
moosh,
sludge, basically. And it's like, right, so why didn't any of the visions that they saw of, oh, here's the world we're going to save you from, include people turning to sludge?
But also...
Or crops dying.
It was a virus.
Yeah, and this came out in 2017.
Yeah,
so
and we watched it like,
oh god.
No.
But again,
because it was like, what could take over the world that it's not like nuclear,
military force or nuclear fallout. Or, yeah, it's a virus, it's a contagion.
A virus that the whole world will get infected, and it's like.
And I do, as much as I kind of hate the I'm blind thing, I do like the fact that it's his own ego and hubris about not wanting to make it real that stops him, because he ends up in a situation where he has to press 4 numbers on a keypad and he can't see them.
And nobody can help him.
Like that, I think that is a brilliant kind of, you idiot, you know what I mean?
You've dug yourself this
But
one.
also, surely he has a phone, could turn the camera on and Bill could guide his hand. Anyway, for all the time they spend arguing, she could have done that. Same.
Oh, God.
Tony Gardner and Rachel Denning as Douglas and Erica, respectively, are very good. I think that the commander, Colonel Don Brabbit, Colonel Alia, and General Zhao Lan are all really good. I think Jamie Hill plays the monks well. I think Tim Bentrick voices it well. It's just a boring choice, but that's not down to him. I think Togo Igawa as the Secretary General from the UN is only in it briefly, but he's very good.
Yeah.
Resurrecting from Peter Harness's previous story, the President of the World stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it was also from the Series 8 finale as well, from Moffat, but having the same plane. Yeah, sure, okay, fine. But it's weird that we had an episode where the Pope and the Vatican called on the Doctor. And an episode where, like, you're president of the world. It's like, can he not just be like a quiet university lecturer who goes off on weird adventures? Can we have that, please? That would be fun. I could understand unit recalling him as their scientific advisor, maybe. Be like, right, you're being recalled. Come on, we need you.
Yeah.
We need you for summer.
Yeah, that would make more sense and would be less dramatic.
Yeah, then
like if you were
the UN want you, Doctor. It's like, for God's sake, he's such a special boy, and everyone knows who he is. And it's like, what?
Yeah, that is annoying.
So weird. Remember how Moffat made the Daleks forget who he was, and then instantly remembered him the next time they saw him. Like, Christ alive. We downloaded data about you from the Cybermen. You're like, oh, for God's sake.
But I've just remembered. Exterminate.
OMG, it's you.
I didn't recognise you. How have you been?
You don't know it's bad.
What's that laugh? Sorry.
I enjoyed it. Hello, sweetheart. So, yeah, and then Bill's like, he'll get his sight back, and she's like, don't worry, he'll be able to fix this. I just want my friend to be fixed, and maybe this is for the best, and blah blah blah. Throughout the episode, the Doctor's going, we don't know what they want.
Yeah.
They want to conquer you, and we don't know why. Spoiler alert, we never find out why. And also, they don't save them. Everyone's in like a basic rations, smog-infested planet Earth after this. It's so stupid.
I hope you were watching the screen at that point.
They can see her.
You're like jelly. What are you looking at me like that for?
Well, you know it's a pyramid at the end of the world before we move on to part... Ugh.
Oh, God, is there another part?
Yeah, last one.
Jesus. Oh, notes. Hold on. Cute Bill and Penny.
Yeah?
Doctor... Oh, no.
Penny uncredited in this episode, funnily enough.
Like our friend Emma says, I need to go to horny jail.
Why?
Doctor playing guitar gives me feelings in my pants.
Pants feelings. No.
I went on a bit of a Iron Maiden binge the day that we started watching this, and the fact that it was called the fact that they kept saying 2 minutes to midnight because that's what the clock was saying.
Doomsday.
To Doomsday, yeah. And I was just kept singing to myself, 2 minutes to midnight, and I wrote brackets Iron Maiden song in case I forgot what it was.
Well done, dear. Well done.
Their plan to make Earth fight against each other seems too real. Because that was their...
Well, was it their plan? Because obviously then it was, no, we need you to consent. It's like, huh? So I think their plan plan was always to get them in the same place so they could talk to them.
Maybe that was their first idea of what they were trying to do.
It's so unclear. They ran the numbers and then there was no obvious plan. It's really dumb.
The monks in the cockpit of the plane.
God, that was funny. When the guy, yes, because like the guy, all the people steering the vehicles and the bombs and everything that were going to attack them get taken away, but they're taken away and replaced by the monks, and it just looks hilarious. They've all just sat there in the cockpit like, hello. Where he turns to the pilot, it's just a monk going, hello.
This is monk number 1 talking to monk number 3. I don't know where that joke was going.
This is your captain speaking. You're flying at an altitude of... We have about an hour and a half till landing. Please make sure your seatbelts are on and your table is in the upright position. Oh, God. Thank you for flying Monk Airline.
Who does that sound like, though?
No.
Oh, I can't think. Is it a version of Davros? No.
I don't know.
Anyway, oh God, yeah. Nardole, he does something smart because I guess he is smart. And Bill was like, "Oh, that was clever," and he goes, "I'm not just sexy."
Yeah, totally.
I did a eye rolling emoji.
But at the same time,
there's Moffat's contribution.
At the same time, glad he's confident in himself, but it's also what?
It's so see-through that it's just Moffat doing a Moffat. I can't stand us.
Is that it for those ones?
Yeah.
The Lie of the Land.
The Lay of the Lou. This is very.
Why is everyone in boiler suits?
It's very 1984.
Oh yeah, I think it's meant to be evocative of that, but also like. It feels like we've done this already.
Yeah.
And it may just be because it's the companions out in the real world trying to figure things out, but it felt a bit like The Last of the Time Lords.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the fact that they were like companies and organisations that took people away who were trying to figure out the truth. And yet at the same time, the people working for the monks doing that also were blind to the truth. So why were they all happy about like, we'll take you away? Like, why were they happy about it? It was really weird.
Yeah.
We learn that 6 months have passed. Well, although it feels like years, the monks have always been here. The Doctor's even part of these broadcasts that remind people about how wonderful the monks are. Oh, that smile at the end is just like creepy as hell. And you went, ugh.
That was very creepy. But do you know what happened during this?
Oh my god. Right, so. Go online. Oh, you already are, surprise. After this, go and watch the footage of something called Back to the Future, the ride. So Universal Studios theme parks, in America, they used to have these rides called Back to the Future, the ride, which was a big simulator. But the idea was Doc Brown had opened up the Future Technologies Institute or whatever, the Institute of Future Technologies, and you're going to test drive these brand new sort of like 8-person DeLorean kind of ships. Test drive them for him, right? And it all goes wrong. Biff Tannen from the 50s somehow is there and gets involved. Hilarity ensues. And out of shoes. But the pre-show stuff, and it's all online, are these videos that showed in the queue, which shows Doc having experimented with the DeLorean and stuff since, because obviously the ride forgot about the fact that he stayed in the past with Clara and they have a time train, but whatever. And they had the Marty destroy the DeLorean and all that, so that time travel would never get into the hands of anyone ever again. But the point is, there's all these photos of him like meeting Richard Nixon and the Beatles and Albert Einstein, and it's 1994, 1995 Photoshop, right? So, on little monitors playing around the queue area of the ride in the 90s and the 2000s, it would have looked fine. But looking at it now, you're like, oh, that is some poorly Photoshopped Christopher Lloyd in a picture with the Beatles, right? We both started wetting ourselves laughing at the start of this when the video showed the montage of the monks throughout history.
It's so funny. It's like exactly the same.
It's exactly the same. It's like they're high-resolution photos photoshopped to look less high-resolution in low-resolution photos. It's just...
so funny.
It's bad.
Oh, God.
It's like, it would have been fine, I think, had they taken it on older cameras intentionally and then used those scans. But they've obviously done it in the big high-def like photo shoots for the episodes. Yeah. And it's just like, it doesn't work.
Oy.
It's so weird. And then the CGI looks awful on the statues stood around the world. That looks really bad.
What would have been so funny is if like they were dressed in period dress. Like Bridgerton or something. Yeah. That would have been amazing.
So everyone's essentially been low-level brainwashed to believe the monks have always been here. But also, and it's great, but also everyone's on like rationed food and everything's dystopian for some reason. And smoggy, and the streets are filthy and covered in pollution. Hang on, thought you were saving everybody from that, guys. And we learn that the brainwashing of everybody essentially is signalled out by the person who consented. The person who consented created this... you know, like this wave, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's Bill. And Missy reveals
later...
later...
know that at this point.
No, she learns that when they go to Missy.
Right.
She learns that the reason that's happening is because what they do is it's sort of intrinsically linked into DNA, which makes no sense. But it's like whoever consented and allowed the monks to take over is the beacon that boosts the signal that has everybody just playing along. And even if they die, the reason it happens for like a few generations is even if they die, if they have children and their children have children, it's passed through the bloodline, which makes no sense, but whatever. And so the only way to truly stop it is for that person to die or like not ever have a family, like biologically have a family. Unless Bill and her future partner like were planning to get inseminated or what have you, then like that wasn't ever going to be a problem.
No.
And I'm not sure they thought about that. But yeah, and she's like, what happens on worlds where like, those people don't have kids or whatever? Missy goes, they just chalk it up to it having kind of failed that time, and they move on and they learn from it and go somewhere else. And it's like, okay, we still never find out what the hell it is the monks get out of this. We never learn. We learn that the Doctor basically said to them, I'll be your, like, propaganda man, because you're looking after everybody. Fine, I'm fine with this, whatever. But really, he's used this, like, militarized base at sea where they keep him to do his broadcast. They're like, we've got him on side, but we also don't want him to, like, get out, so let's keep him here and we'll look after him. We'll have a lovely office and a great studio, nice living quarters and all this stuff.
What did it make me think of? Like somebody that's kept literally just for show. Was it a Doctor Who episode?
Can't remember now.
Well, I'm not sure.
Just the idea of a luxury prison, essentially.
Yeah.
Oh, the Master. Like, well, no, because he's still in a prison. It's just at a lighthouse in a military camp.
Watching the clangers.
Watching the clangers, having a whale of a time.
Let's watch that instead.
If you want to watch the Sea Devils, I'm more looking for watching the Sea Devils. We've got it on Blu-ray now. So, yeah, like, that idea is, and of course that's basically, it's a mirror of what's happening with Missy. She's basically kept in a fairly comfortable, like, cell.
She's kept in a jar.
And it's Gallifreyan in a way. It's like, it's bigger on the inside.
Oh, do you know what? Never mind.
Okay. So, that was random.
I forgot what I was going to say mid-sentence. I'm very tired.
Kept in a jar.
Kept in a jar.
By a cockney nut job, have a cup of tea. Now,
Don't know.
so the Doctor's basically kept there, and while he's there, he's been slowly deprogramming the soldiers that monitor him.
Yeah. I thought that was quite funny. But very cruel.
What do you mean?
Very
what he
to
takes Bill through.
Yeah.
Well, that's weird, because, yeah, it's like he basically leads her on to the point where she kills him. She executes
God, you don't
him.
have to put her through a lot of crap.
Like he sort of leans into it so that she would panic and execute him, because she's like, I can't stop this if you're on their side, so you've got to go.
Yeah.
And he does that to be like, right, I now know that you are definitely, like, with us. You are coherent. This isn't them leading me into a trap through you.
Yeah.
This isn't what. And it's like, okay, fine, whatever. But, like, it is a bit weird how it's like, yeah, you shot me, huzzah! And again, Moffat, like, Toby Whithouse wrote this, but Moffat loves the idea of overusing regeneration energy. Like, he kind of uses a version of it in Extremis to temporarily cure his blindness, but at the expense of a future incarnation having some form of a setback in some way. Like, maybe every incarnation after this will be blind or whatever. Whereas here he just regenerates briefly to be like, oh! But it's like, who's that for? The soldiers don't know you do that when you die. Nardole might do. Bill doesn't.
But only because you told him.
You're like, Bill doesn't. Bill doesn't know what regeneration is. She's got no idea. What was that for, then? Was it for the viewers? I mean, yeah, obviously, because there's a shot in the trailer, because people knew he was leaving. There's a shot in the trailer of when his hand, like, grips the desk and it's all glowing. There was a shot of that in the trailer. But it's like, Bill would have more questions, surely.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we want the viewers to go, oh, God, she's actually shot him because he's regenerated. But it's like, we, the viewers, have seen him die from being shot at Lake Silencio. So she could just shoot him, like, 3 or 4 times and fall to the floor. And we'd buy it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I think Toby Whithouse does the best he can with what is essentially, obviously, a, Toby, could you write me out of this bullshit? Thank you very much. Toby.
It's like they had the idea and nobody's gone, oh, hold on a second.
But what's it for? To quote Tom.
That's great for drama, but it doesn't really... We've got so many tangents. We've got to keep an eye on what we're doing.
So what do the monks get out of this, Boone?
I don't know.
Yeah, neither do I. They also never speak in this. They've not got a credited speaking part because they don't talk in this at all.
No.
They just float around going... So, alright.
I don't know how I'll make that noise, but it's
magical. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's never explained. It's never explained what they actually wanted. Ever. Conquest, and that's it. Like, why?
But for what?
They're running and now having to full-time police an Earth where they're not worshipped, they're just thanked. Everyone thanks them. We never see them being paid tribute in some way. Like, we never see any of it at all. So what's the point? I don't get it.
Surely they're just giving themselves more work.
Now, the fact that there's a pyramid in the middle of London implies that yes, these are indeed either their ships or at least their like bases that they set up. The hive brain one that's sort of keeping up the illusion.
Is it because it's?
Well, no, that's it. That's the one that's keeping up the illusion. Bill's existence is the thing that keeps up everyone going along with it, essentially.
Is it because they are like a symbol of power and strength?
I guess, but what did they get out of it?
I'm just talking about the pyramid.
Alright. Well, yeah, no, sure. Or maybe it's an implication that they've been here before, and it's like...
They're why the pyramids exist.
Yeah, but after this, the Pyramid of London's gone, so... No.
Meh.
Like, and again, that's the thing, it's like... So why does Bill have to be like a signal booster or whatever, and the statues boost signal, if there's a monk who's just there wired in specifically to feed everyone the lie all the time?
I mean, if they've done this many times, surely have they not ironed out the kinks by now?
I don't see what flattening a rock band from the 60s is going to do, but the point is...
I was wondering where you were going with that. That was very funny.
I don't care about them because I don't understand what they want. Like, we see their perfect world. We see them having won, and it's just boring Earth where they get nothing out of it.
Yeah.
Like, what was the point? Like, The Master, Series 3 finale, again, comparisons to Last of the Time Lords, but, like, he gets what he wants, which is he always wanted to rule a planet. He wanted to rule a world. And here he is, ruling over a world like a cruel dictator, which is, like, how he wants to do it. He's also got an army of unstoppable killer spherical robots that are actually, you know, mutated humans. Like, he's having a whale of a time. He's loving it. The monks aren't like that.
No.
Like, what are they getting out of this? Just...
I would have loved it if, like, they were at a point where they genuinely couldn't figure out how to stop it. And the monks were like, "You're too much work. We're going."
Boy. Trying to think, I'm sure there's a Red Dwarf plot. No, isn't there a Simpsons plot about that?
I don't know, maybe.
Like someone like one of the Halloween specials or they're just like, no, we can't keep up. This is ridiculous. Bye. You're so annoying. Laters.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, I don't care. The only really kind of that's good for this for my money is Pearl Mackie's performance when Bill is talking to her imaginary mum.
Oh yeah.
That's nice. I like the idea that she's clinging on to the one thing she kind of remembers, which is her mum, because she now knows what her mum looks like.
Oh, because of the doctor.
Because of the photos, yeah. So she pictures her mum, and then that's kind of the thing that breaks everything. She like focuses on her mum, and everyone kind of basically sees visions of a world that is not this one, and they start to sort of come around and be like, "Oh God, hang on, what are we doing?" I hate the quick wrap-up explanation at the end. People are not going to remember it. It's like, what's this for? I don't understand. Like, you're silly humans, you're all stupid. And it's like, this is sort of a line that implies that, it's because of the brainwashing effect, like everybody's going to eventually forget it. It's leaving their system. But it's played up as, everyone moves on from stuff anyway. It's like, everyone just spent the last 6 months in boiler suits, in smoggy, dirty versions of their cities.
Are people not, if it's just a case of people forgetting, are people not at a point yet where they're like, God, we've had a lot of aliens like come in. Is anybody going to do anything about it?
Like, the Russell T Davies era #1 dealt with that quite well, because anytime there was something like that, it carried over into the Earth stories. Like, people would reference it or talk about it. The whole thing of Donna, like, forgetting alien invasions prior to, like, sort of proper joining up is because she was always hungover, so she either missed stuff or didn't believe it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it makes sense. And then Moffat kind of retcons all of that out with the cracks in time. Like, the idea that Amy didn't recognise the Daleks, even though they'd invaded Earth in her lifetime, and it's like, yeah, of course, a giant Sideman walks through Victorian London and no one remembers it. No one writes it in the history books. Like, of course, like, the implication of stuff was being erased with the cracks in time.
Mm.
But it's like, stuff's happened since then.
Yeah.
Like...
you need to keep up with it, guys.
Yeah. I don't like this one. And that sucks, because I really like Toby Whithouse as a writer, and I hate that I don't like a thing he wrote, because I love Being Human. I really enjoy his other episodes. Did you write The God Complex? For Docky Who?
Let's
see, have a little look at those. Where is this about? School reunion, like, you know, he's a great writer. I just don't care about this episode.
Yeah.
And I think this is why I didn't care about the Monk. This is why I was upset about the Monk's trilogy originally, because it's for nothing.
There's no payoff.
Yeah. It's for nothing.
It's like there's no like we don't.
The Doctor's blindness is cured when the monks change everything like they agreed to. That's it.
What? Of everything the Doctor's done, why did he not cure himself?
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. And why would it take a whole regeneration energy source to give himself a little bit of sight? Well, that doesn't make any sense to me either. He can grow his own hand back.
Well, that's because he was still regenerating.
No, okay.
Yeah, he is fully formed now, and he has been this incarnation for at least 100 years. So it's like, yeah, but keep in mind, Matt Smith. Well, no, because the confession dial wasn't him theoretically.
Oh God, let's not get into that.
Because like Matt Smith just gave up some of his regeneration energy to heal River's broken hand, and it's like Moffat loves doing that. And I'm so glad it's kind of gone away now, because it only happened once in the Russell era, and it works brilliantly. And it's the bit where the Doctor just breathes into the thing in the TARDIS and reawakens it when they're trying to get back from the alternate universe, and he's like, I just gave it 10 years of my life, worth every minute. And it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. But it's like later Doctors just go, oh, he has some regeneration energy, la 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 la. It's like, what the hell?
You get some regeneration energy.
You get a regeneration, and you get a regeneration, and you get a regeneration. Do you have anything else on this one to take us out?
Let's have a wee look.
I like the title. I think the title's great. The Lie of the Land. Brilliant title. Just a shame the episode's kind of crap. And we've gone dead.
The opening is like Doc Brown in the video for the Back to the Future ride. The green screen is shocking.
Yes. There's
a lot of them. I need a strepsil. I need to write down context.
You really do.
I need a strepsil.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. I need a strepsil.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And sick burn to Celebrity Love Island.
Yes, they take a stab, which just made me go, wait, it's been around since 2017? And then I remember the version of Love Island that's on, as of this recording, is the second incarnation of Love Island.
How vapid.
I love the idea of them listening to tapes with Bill. Because the closer they get into the pyramid, the more the lie kind of starts to seep back into them. So they're all listening to little cassette tapes of her, telling the truth of the situation over and over again.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's fun. I like that stuff.
That was
but yeah, just... What do you guys think of Oxygen and the Monk trilogy? It's a shame it wasn't the Meddling Monk. Let us know down in the comments below.
It's so funny, we had so much energy at the beginning of this, and now we're just like...
It's because the Monk trilogy is just so pointless. It's so pointless. So yeah, did I hate it as much as I remembered hating it? No. I'm just incredibly disappointed. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
That's worse.
Oxygen, however, really good.
Really good, yeah.
Let us know in the comments down below if you like these stories, and join us next time as we wrap up Series 10 proper with 4 stories you've never seen in any way. You've not seen any bits of them. You've not seen any glimpses of them. We have got the Empress of Mars, the Eater of Light. We have World Enough and Time, and the Doctor Falls. And I'm really excited for this one, because this is I think even as of now, my last favourite modern era finale story.
Uh-oh. We're getting near the end now.
Yeah, well, the Battle of Ranskrof Kolos is pish. God, what's Series 12's finale? The Timeless Children's not great, and the end of the Flux is terrible.
I reckon we should stop after Capaldi.
Nope.
Oh.
Come and join us. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Good bike. Ooh, claro, me va a faltar, me va a